It was a moment that no one could have predicted. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the calm of the night in Nova Scotia was shattered. Viewers around the world, expecting the usual History Channel programming, were instead met with a blood-red alert screen pulsing steadily, announcing a confirmed discovery. The silence of homes everywhere was broken as people rushed to see the live feed. Cameras on drones cut through the stormy night, their lights casting long beams over the rough terrain, hovering above a newly revealed opening in the ground. A robotic crawler slowly descended into the dark, centuries-old tunnel, capturing every detail, every shadow, every stone untouched since the era of the Knights Templar. As the crawler moved deeper, it revealed a sight no one thought existed. A chamber sealed for hundreds of years had opened, and inside, the craftsmanship was breathtaking. Perfectly carved arches lined the walls. Symbols associated with the Knights Templar, ancient constellations, and intricate markings adorned the stone. The legends of Oak Island suddenly became reality. This was no myth. What had been whispered about in stories and documentaries for decades was now unfolding live for millions to witness. The chamber was a time capsule, a bridge between centuries, and it held secrets that had been buried and protected for generations. As the cameras continued to advance, it became clear that this was not a simple treasure trove. Instead of chests of coins or a pile of dusty gold, the chamber contained machinery. Massive iron gears interlocked with wooden pulleys. Levers and counterweights hung in place like silent guardians of the Templar secrets. Pipes extended from the walls, and sealed pressure mechanisms preserved in resin suggested a level of engineering far beyond what one would expect from the 14th century. A faint, steady glow illuminated the center of the room. It was not electricity. It seemed to be chemical or alchemical in nature, designed to last through centuries. Every member of the crew watching on site was frozen in awe and disbelief. This chamber was more than a vault. It was a machine, a fortress, and possibly a warning system all at once. Questions erupted instantly. Had the Templars hidden gold here, or was there something more significant? Was this a test, a trap, or a protective mechanism? With caution but determination, the team decided to proceed. A lever was pulled, and a massive counterweight shifted, revealing a secondary passage within the chamber. The cameras followed the pathway, and the treasure that lay beyond was unlike anything imagined. Crates secured with wax and iron were carefully pried open. Inside were gold bars stacked like bricks, gleaming and polished, reflecting the intense floodlights. Coins from Byzantine, Moorish, and Spanish origins spilled from the chests, each bearing the marks of long-lost empires. Jewels, gem-studded chalices, golden crosses, and crowns embedded with sapphires were scattered across the stone floor. Experts on site whispered that the haul's value was staggering, at least $250 million, and this was only the first layer. Yet, even amidst the incredible wealth, something seemed unusual. Some gold bars bore strange markings, coded symbols that suggested they were more than mere currency. This treasure was not just wealth. It was part of a system, possibly an archive, or a map hidden in plain sight. But the true discovery waited behind the piles of gold. Hidden in iron crates, carefully sealed and arranged, were bundles wrapped in oilskin, perfectly preserved. Ancient manuscripts, scrolls in Aramaic, Latin, and Greek revealed secrets never known to the modern world. One parchment detailed unknown gospels, diagrams of mechanical machines with wings, fortresses with rotating turrets, and other inventions recorded long before history claimed they existed. A smaller box contained unknown Leonardo da Vinci sketches and notes. Amazingly, the team found an orphaned passage beyond the manuscript crates. It illuminated into a large room where a small, still shining fountain of ice-cold water lay. A codex with the papal seal of Clement V, the pope who dissolved the Templar order centuries ago. The shock among the scholars was immense. Could it be that Clement had secretly protected Templar knowledge instead of destroying it? The crew was left stunned. This was not a treasure for wealth alone. It was a vault of knowledge, forbidden and powerful. Instruments on site began to behave strangely. Compasses spun uncontrollably. Seismographs registered vibrations that did not match any known geological patterns. Some crew members reported hearing faint voices echoing through the chamber, ancient chants in French or Latin, almost as if the chamber was alive. Some argued this was equipment interference. Others believed the chamber had been built to detect intrusion, a complex system of sound and stone. Outside, the tension grew. Unmarked ships appeared on the horizon, silently observing the excavation. The presence of these watchers suggested a long-hidden group dedicated to guarding Oak Island's secrets. Messages arrived warning that the discovery was not meant for outsiders. The Guardians, who had maintained secrecy for centuries, made it clear this treasure was bound by an oath and should not be removed or exposed. The significance of this warning was soon confirmed. The Vatican, pressured by leaks, acknowledged in part the connection between the manuscripts and their secret archives, though it refused comment on the gold or other relics. Even as the political and religious implications spread across the globe, the excavation continued. Ground-penetrating radar revealed a secondary tunnel beneath the main treasure chamber. At the end stood a sealed door with the double-headed eagle crest, a symbol used by secret societies across Europe. Beyond this door lay a chamber larger than the treasure room, pulsing with energy, a rhythm felt in the stone itself. It was clear that Oak Island was not just a site of hidden wealth. It was part of a larger network of secret vaults, possibly stretching across the world. The discovery had immediate global consequences. Financial markets trembled at the news of centuries-old gold entering the world. Scholars and historians debated the manuscript's content, suggesting that the Templars had left a network of hidden knowledge and resources across continents, linked through star maps and geometric grids. This was not just history, it was a map of power and influence designed to remain hidden until the proper time. The excavation was far from over. The secondary tunnel and the chamber behind it hinted at untold wealth and knowledge. Instruments indicated powerful resonances, vibrations that echoed through the ground and through the hearts of the crew. The stakes had risen far beyond money or history. Oak Island was now a key to a global mystery that had been centuries in the making. The treasures discovered so far were only the beginning. Every step into the chamber revealed more questions than answers. How many more chambers lay undiscovered? How much more gold, knowledge, or artifacts were hidden beneath the Nova Scotian soil? And what would happen if this network of secrets were fully revealed? Governments, scholars, secret societies, and treasure hunters were now all watching. Oak Island had become the center of a worldwide drama, a story of history, secrecy, power, and wealth, entwined in ways no one could have imagined. The gold, the manuscripts, the mechanical devices, and the star maps were just the start. Each new discovery hinted at a far larger story. Oak Island was not simply a site of treasure, it was a gateway to understanding a network built over centuries. The Templars, the Church, secret societies, and powerful families had all played a role in hiding knowledge, shaping history, and controlling information.
As the weeks passed, the excavation continued with extreme caution. The crew carefully documented every item, every inscription, and every device. Experts from multiple disciplines analyzed the findings, revealing connections to ancient engineering, astronomy, and esoteric knowledge. The secondary tunnel and the chamber beyond it became the focus of intense study, as instruments suggested a system that had been designed to protect, alert, or even punish intruders. Even as the crew worked, the world outside was captivated. News outlets reported continuously, social media exploded, and historians debated the implications of the manuscripts and gold. The discoveries threatened to change the understanding of Templar history, the spread of knowledge across continents, and even the history of the Catholic Church itself. The gold was dazzling, but the knowledge contained within the manuscripts was potentially far more valuable. As Oak Island's secrets began to unfold, the implications became clear.
Ordinary treasure. It was a key to a network of hidden knowledge and resources that spanned the globe. The Templars, their allies, and those sworn to protect these secrets had created a system that had endured for centuries. Oak Island had finally revealed its first layer, but the deeper layers remained, full of mystery, danger, and untold wealth. The story of Oak Island had shifted from legend to reality, and the world was now watching. Every discovery revealed connections to a broader history, a larger network of hidden chambers and treasures, and a legacy of secrecy that had lasted for centuries. The gold was real, the manuscripts were authentic, and the mechanisms hinted at technologies far advanced for their time. Oak Island was no longer just an island. It was a portal to the past, a puzzle for the present, and possibly a key to the future. The crew moved carefully through the chamber, their lights cutting through the shadows as the magnitude of the discovery sank in. Each crate, each manuscript, and every gold bar seemed to whisper secrets from centuries past. The gold, while dazzling, was almost secondary to the intricate engineering of the room. Iron gears meshed perfectly with wooden mechanisms, and levers were balanced with precision, suggesting that someone had designed the system not merely to store treasure, but to protect it, to control access, and perhaps even to test those who dared to enter. Every movement of the robotic crawler revealed more, and each revelation deepened the sense of awe and disbelief. As the team began examining the manuscripts, a sense of urgency grew. The texts were delicate, preserved through centuries in oilskin bundles. Ancient languages, symbols, and diagrams required careful interpretation. One parchment, covered in Aramaic, described unknown gospels and rituals that had never appeared in the historical record. Secrecy. The codex, stamped with the papal seal of Clement V, caused immediate discussion among historians on site. The Pope, who had dissolved the Templar Order, now appeared connected to the preservation of their secrets. Why would he protect these documents? Theories swirled. Some suggested a hidden alliance or an attempt to safeguard knowledge for a future generation. Others believed it was part of a larger network of hidden vaults, designed to survive political upheaval and centuries of conflict. The codex became the centerpiece of the excavation, a symbol of authority, secrecy, and the immense power of the Templars. While the manuscripts were studied, the gold continued to amaze. The coins, coming from civilizations long thought extinct or destroyed, provided a timeline of trade and conquest. Byzantine coins bore the faces of emperors lost to memory. Moorish gold showed the influence of Muslim empires in Europe and Africa. Spanish doubloons carried the marks of explorers who had traveled across oceans. Each piece, while valuable in itself, also told a story, a history hidden in plain sight.
The sheer volume suggested that Oak Island had served not just as a treasure vault, but as a hub of storage, collection, and preservation of wealth over centuries. Yet even as excitement grew, unease crept in. Instruments began to register odd vibrations, low and rhythmic, pulsing through the ground beneath the crew's feet. Compasses spun unpredictably, and sensitive equipment malfunctioned. The phenomenon could not be explained by geology alone. It seemed as if the chamber itself responded to the intrusion, a silent warning from its builders. Crew members reported hearing voices, whispers in the walls, low chants that seemed almost alive. The origin was untraceable, but the effect was unmistakable. Those inside the chamber felt as though the past and present were colliding, that the actions of centuries-old guardians were unfolding in real time. Outside, the island was no longer quiet. Unmarked ships, moving silently through the mist, circled the excavation site. Their presence suggested observation, monitoring, and potentially control. No signals, no communication, just shadows moving in formation. The realization struck that Oak Island was not merely a historical site, but a location of strategic significance. The discovery was being watched by those who understood its importance and possibly its danger. The treasure was not theirs to claim. That guardians existed, tasked with protecting what had been hidden for centuries. The involvement of the Vatican, whether direct or indirect, added another layer of complexity. As news of the manuscripts spread, it became clear that the Church had long been aware of the document's existence. While the gold drew attention, the knowledge contained within the manuscripts posed a greater threat to established history, theology, and authority. The Pope's public statements were carefully worded, avoiding direct reference to the treasure or manuscripts, emphasizing caution and preservation instead. Scholars speculated that this avoidance was intentional, designed to prevent the public from understanding the full scope of the discovery. Amidst this global attention, the excavation itself revealed even more secrets. Ground-penetrating radar detected a secondary tunnel beneath the main chamber, previously hidden behind stone and debris. The tunnel stretched further and deeper than initially expected, ending at a sealed door coated in hardened layers of lead. The double-headed eagle crest etched into the door suggested links to secret societies across Europe, including the Byzantines and the Holy Roman Empire. It became evident that Oak Island was part of a broader network of vaults, each connected to the Templars, secret societies, and possibly other historical powers. As the crew approached this new chamber, instruments detected low-frequency vibrations stronger than any previously recorded. The ground itself seemed to resonate in time with a hidden pulse. Cameras captured the tension on the faces of the crew members. Marty stood motionless, sweat tracing lines down his face, while others whispered quietly, debating the potential consequences of opening a vault that had been sealed for centuries. This was no ordinary discovery. It was a system designed to protect, communicate, or even defend. Every step forward carried risk, both physical and historical. The global response to the discovery was immediate. News outlets broadcasted continuously, social media exploded with theories, speculation, and videos. Economists warned that the sudden possibility of $250 million in gold entering circulation could destabilize markets. Governments expressed interest under the guise of heritage protection, while private entities allegedly sought secret access to portions of the treasure. Oak Island had become the center of a worldwide narrative, involving not just historians and treasure hunters, but politicians and security agencies,
financial institutions, and secretive global actors. The manuscripts themselves continued to reveal astonishing content. Hidden diagrams detailed advanced mechanical concepts, including gears, pulleys, and counterweights capable of functioning with extreme precision. Star maps suggested navigation across oceans, linking Oak Island to locations in Portugal, Jerusalem, and even South America. These maps implied a global network of treasures or vaults, connected across continents and preserved through centuries by a coordinated group. The manuscript's contents challenged historical timelines, suggesting knowledge and technology far beyond what was officially recorded. Despite the overwhelming evidence of gold and knowledge, the chamber seemed alive. Vibrations, whispers, and anomalies persisted. Crew members reported hearing chants, voices, and even the faint echo of footsteps. Some believed this was a residual effect of the Templars' engineering. Others suggested that some unseen force was still protecting the vault. The tension between excitement and fear was palpable. Every discovery brought elation, but also caution, as the reality of what was unearthed became increasingly clear. The secondary tunnel and sealed chamber promised even more revelations. The double-headed eagle symbol suggested links to centuries of secret societies, and the volume indicated the potential for wealth, artifacts, and knowledge far exceeding the main treasure chamber. Instruments detected an intense resonance, a pulse that seemed to come from the very heart of the earth beneath Oak Island. The crew recognized that their actions had consequences far beyond the immediate excavation. As the weeks passed, cataloging and documentation became critical. Every gold bar, manuscript, and artifact was meticulously recorded. Experts analyzed inscriptions, symbols, and mechanical structures. Cross-referencing with historical records revealed startling correlations. The treasures and manuscripts aligned with known historical events, but also with unknown histories, secret technologies, and undiscovered connections. Oak Island was no longer merely a treasure site. It was a living archive, a preserved laboratory of centuries-old knowledge. Global reactions intensified. Historians debated the authenticity of manuscripts. Economists assessed the potential impact of releasing such a large quantity of gold into the world. Governments enforced heritage protection laws. Shadowy groups, described only in whispers as guardians of Oak Island, monitored the excavation. Media coverage spread rapidly, igniting public fascination and fear. Conspiracy theories flourished, suggesting that the Templar treasures contained hidden instructions, maps, or technologies that could alter global power dynamics. As the crew focused on the secondary tunnel and the sealed door,
live feed. Cameras on drones cut through the stormy night, their lights casting long beams over the rough terrain, hovering above a newly revealed opening in the ground. A robotic crawler slowly descended into the dark, centuries-old tunnel, capturing every detail, every shadow, every stone untouched since the era of the Knights Templar. As the crawler moved deeper, it revealed a sight no one thought existed. A chamber sealed for hundreds of years had opened, and inside, the craftsmanship was breathtaking. Perfectly carved arches lined the walls. Symbols associated with the Knights Templar, ancient constellations, and intricate markings adorned the stone. The legends of Oak Island suddenly became reality. This was no myth. What had been whispered about in stories and documentaries for decades was now unfolding live for millions to witness. The chamber was a time capsule, a bridge between centuries, and it held secrets that had been buried and protected for generations. As the cameras continued to advance, it became clear that this was not a simple treasure trove. Instead of chests of coins or a pile of dusty gold, the chamber contained machinery. Massive iron gears interlocked with wooden pulleys. Levers and counterweights hung in place like silent guardians of the Templar secrets. Pipes extended from the walls, and sealed pressure mechanisms preserved in resin suggested a level of engineering far beyond what one would expect from the 14th century.